Streamer wird sehr live übertragen. Nice. Wir haben schon ein Like.
Das ist von mir. Vielleicht.
Vicky? Yo, yo, yo! What is up? What is up? As usual, we start with a little bit of a quality check of those people that are already cruising in. Could you give us a little bit of feedback? How the quality is like? Can you see me? Can you hear me? So we're gonna run a bit of a quality check here. Manveer says, sup? What is up? Pofferties says, hi Mona and Manny. Hi Pofferties. Have a nice evening. Jordan Lewis, like seriously, man. what is the quality? What is the quality? What is? I don't know if that's a pervert question. I have no idea. Can we read that out loud? Quality is okay. Quality is okay. That's good. That's good. So I guess like usual, we're gonna start with a little bit of an anecdote, right, from our day, before the first questions are rolling in. Positan imerasu, Mona. We've been learning a lot of Greek recently. We've been learning a lot of Greek, and that means Positan imerasu means how was your day, if I am not mistaken. So Kala, ne. Is it Kala? It was good. It was good. No, we were at the beach. Then we got a bit of sun. Actually, a little bit too much sun, I think, for my taste. But it's actually quite okay. Only the left side. You know, we were chilling at the beach and playing chess. And I was lying on the side all the time. You know, the sun was hitting me from one side all the time. So I'm a little bit burned on the left and super okay on the right. So that's quite kind of fun. And we were first at the beach. Then we actually repaired my car. We repaired some springs on the car. We brought the car to the mechanic and repaired some springs. So the wonderful Caddy Bro is now in top shape again. And then we made a little bit of a hike to some rocks, but of course we were not climbing because that's forbidden. And checked out some beautiful landscape and stuff like that. Then we went back and went some grocery shopping and had a wonderful dinner now. And now we're chilling out in the evening and having a little bit of a live stream session. So that's basically the story. Let me know, by the way, I would be interested in case we've got some different nationalities here in the chat. Would be interesting to know how are the regulations in your countries going, you know, because I'm hearing stories from Austria and everything where things are slowly opening back up, you know, the little stores are opening back up and also people are going outdoors again. It's slowly it seems to reopen. Not here in Greece, I have the feeling. It takes a little bit longer probably. A couple of weeks still, but back home everything starts to open up. So it would be interesting if we've got some Americans here or some Canadians or wherever the bad this bad disease hit, how it's been regulated there. Is arc training not ideal on 40-degree wall? I don't know what arc training is. I've never heard arc training before. It's fine, both video and audio. Thanks, Poffert. Yes, that's good to hear. Gotta take a sip from this wonderful receptacle here. Look at this. It's nice. Simon Dengler says, Servus. Servus, Simon. Manveer Saini says, I'm building a system board right now, and depending on angle of the board. What do you mean by that? If I would go with 40 degrees, 40 degrees is a good angle. What's better, climbing or sex? It depends on the grade, I would say. Depends on the grade. Rickissimo Bell says, hello everyone. Hello Ricky, what's up? Flo says, Wagwan Manny. Tere Flo. Jacob says, did you ever have a foot slip while hanging in a deep 1 or 2 finger pocket? How deep do you put your fingers in? I'm afraid I lose them both if I slip. Yeah, that's an interesting question, man. Okay, interesting question. Actually, I remember trying a route back in the Adlitzgräben, which was my home area for a long, long time, to the south of Vienna. And there is this one route called Out of Work. There is one route which is called Back to Work, which is on the left, and it involves a super juggy 2-finger pocket, which you have to take in a complete roof, and that already feels kind of scary. But you have to hold it really actively, which means if you're slipping your feet or stuff like that, you just simply can't let go. Now, the thing is, on this out of work route, though, there was a 1-finger pocket. And it just so happened that I had to tape back then the finger that I would put in this 1-finger pocket. I think it was my left middle finger or something. And I taped it and I put it in this 1-finger pocket, locked it off, made the move, the crux move actually, which is from this pocket as far as I remember. And I wanted to get my finger out, and I couldn't get it out anymore because kind of the tape went in, but then it stuck in there. And I couldn't get my finger out anymore. And I was locking this thing off, grabbing the crux hold essentially. So it was basically a dead end. So I'm crimping down and locking off this crux hold up there, and trying to get my finger out before I fall into it basically. And yeah, luckily enough, I got it out somehow, ripped off the tape, and I actually finished the route that way because I think it's an 8A. Super overhanging with a strange boulder crux on this 1-finger mono finger pocket, and yeah, it worked out this time. You shouldn't slip, of course, in such a situation. That's the bottom line of the story. Who knows what's gonna happen? You might rip a tendon, or you rip your skin off and stuff. All kinds of very disgusting and non nice things can happen. Manveer Zaini says, nobody is really regulating climb in America. Well, that's interesting to hear. Here, climbing is pretty heavily regulated. I mean, it's regulated. They say it's forbidden, right? It's not really that it's very, very strictly controlled, I have the feeling. But yeah, it's forbidden because you don't want to burden the hospitals and everything. Although here in the area, for example, where we are, there's no cases, right? So they can't really, the 0 cases can't really overburden any hospitals. But yeah, it's forbidden anyway. I'm in America, but things are still all closed down. Started climbing in February, so I haven't gotten a lot of time in. Okay. Oh, damn. Things are jumping down again. Orpheus says, Orpheus, good name. Looks like a scientific beaker. I don't know what that is. Rossi Wimmer says, here in Greece everything will start reopening from May 4th, but not all together. Ah, that's interesting. I think we read the same, huh?
I heard something from May 4th. Yes.
Yeah, May 4th. So that's two more weeks around.
Like this.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to be very, very cool because we are looking really forward to finally be able to chill out in a taverna finally and get good food. It would be amazing. Because now it's all takeaway, and the taverna, the only taverna in Leonidio, which is at the beach, close to the beach, they don't really have any takeaway, right? So it's only the pizza dudes and everything. They still have takeaway, and it's of course nice, but it would also be cool to be able to really chill out in a traditional taverna and get some good food in and stuff like that. Luckily, 87 says, in Canada, all shops and gyms are closed, but people still go outside. Okay. Matis Cassens asks, what is your purpose for life? How do you maintain happiness in your life? Interesting question. What is your purpose for life?
Chill out, have a good time.
Yes.
Don't struggle too much. Or I'm not for money. You need it, huh?
No. It's, yeah. Money can only do so much. I mean, money is great, of course. It's cool. Yeah. It would be cool to be able to not think about money at all, for example. And yeah, it's funny how instantly when you ask these questions, money comes up. Money jumps to your mind. I think when I thought about it for longer, the purpose of life is to play, actually, right? You have to, all the different life forms on the planet, they have one biological purpose, right? So that they fit into the whole ecosystem, including humans, by the way. Although we nowadays we have the feeling that there is not really any purpose, right? We don't even depend on nature anymore. It feels at least like that, although it's not the case. We still depend on nature quite a lot, actually. But yeah, every life form on the planet, I think, has a purpose, and beyond that, it is play, right? And this is also very interesting when we take a look at human beings, because with this big brain that we have, a big part of our life is play, and a very very tiny part of our life, or a comparably tiny part of our life, is fulfilling our purpose in nature, which is then not really play, right? This is your job, the job that is given to you by biology, which you have to fulfill anyway, because if you don't, you just simply die, right? So the nature is unforgiving here. If you don't follow these rules, then you give away the justification for you to exist on this planet, and therefore you die, right? But for us humans, because we have such a well-developed head and everything, we can extend a lot beyond that very basic concept of just surviving and just fulfilling our biological job on this planet, so that a lot of space is freed for something else, something more, if you want. You could call it like that, quote unquote. And this is just play. It's play. And whatever it is, right? It is maybe dancing around the fire and singing and enjoying music, for example. I mean, the necessity of music for biology is questionable, right? No other animal really makes music but we do it because we have this capability to do so, and this is play for us. So for me, it's really fulfilling the job that nature gives you, because that is also what is going to provide greatest health and everything, and probably longevity and everything beyond that, which you can build up on this foundation, is play, and that's the purpose of life. This is my purpose of life, having as much fun and play time and all that as possible, essentially. And while doing that, trying to be as healthy as possible, and also finding out, reinventing again actually how this is done, because this is very, very much pushed aside by nowadays media and information and stuff like that. They're trying to cover up these basic concepts so that you keep spinning in the wheel, right? So that they keep working, keep earning more and more money. They want to really box you into this kind of system where you have to follow these man-made rules. These are not natural rules, of course. You have to follow these man-made rules, which are, you have to get money, you have to have a job, you have to da-da-da-da-da. Yeah. This is the opposite of play and fulfilling your biological purpose. And if you want to be happy, I would argue it is smarter to follow your biological job rather than the job that man-made systems, companies, whatever you want to term it, put onto you, try to put onto you. So that's the question in short. Interesting question. This could be a topic for 3 hours. Ben Ruhe. Ich habe meine Kinder gegeben. Das ist geil, Surfer. We can't. That's a nice question. Paul Tana asks, do you think Pirmin Bertle is full of shit? Pirmin Bertle, man. Pirmin Bertle. Oh. Do you know Pirmin Bertle? No? He's a German climber who comes up with awesome sand stories all the time. I don't know. He likes to create projects which are somewhere in nowhere, and then he comes back 2 months later and says, "Yeah, it's 9A plus first ascent, 9B first ascent, and all that kind of stuff." Nobody ever was there. Nobody ever tried the route, and yeah. It's kind of a character. I don't know. I met him once actually in Siorana. I didn't talk to him or anything, but it was clear from the first sight that it was him. Really normal dude, actually. I mean, and he has good genetics for climbing. I have to say, he has a good body. He's, I think, about 180, above 180 tall, really thin, and Lauch, you could say. In German, we say it's a Lauch. Okay. And I think he's also quite strong. So yeah, is he full of shit? I don't know. It's just a character, right? He's making good 8ANU headlines. That's for sure. He always gets the headline if he sends something. 8ANU always jumps on the train and pushes his stories. Tim Price says, in Azerbaijan, it's like in jail. Wow. Just allowed to leave your flat for buying food after writing an SMS to government. Well, it was very similar like that here in Greece as well. It still is. We have this kind of paper. Before we had the paper, because we had a friend of ours printing out the paper, because we don't have a printer here, right? But before we had the paper, we had to write an SMS as well for doing everything which was outside the little parking space that we had to park in with our van. So if you wanted to go food shopping, or if you wanted to take a hike for recreational purposes, or I don't know, you had to write an SMS, and then it was okay, so to say, right? We were never controlled about that though, and now that we have the paper, we always write the time that we are on the road, on the way, so to say, And if we get stopped and asked about that, then we can show them the paper. But we haven't been stopped yet, not a single time, right? So it's always one thing how to make these regulations, and then another thing how they actually control it, right? Because it's super hard to control all that stuff, and why would you, right? I mean, there's obviously no super big danger by just simply going to get your groceries. Philip says, have you been bouldering in Font, and how did you like it compared to granite stone in Austria? I haven't been to Font. I haven't been to Font yet, unfortunately. It would be really cool to see it at some point. I have been to Albarracin, though, which is sandstone as well. Probably a bit different than Font, but yeah, I think in terms of rock quality and stuff like that, it's probably comparable. Compare it to granite in Austria, yeah, the granite is probably more solid, but I had the feeling that it is actually kind of similar. It feels similar in terms of friction, because granite is always a bit rough as well, and yeah, gives really good grip, granite. And if you have the right temperatures and chalk and everything, then it's just like with sandstone, gives really good grip. Ricky says, hello, thanks for the shout out. No problem, man. Justin Connor says, ARC, aerobic respiration capillarity. Okay, I know what that is. ARC training is done by climbing easy terrain for 15 to 45 minutes at a time while maintaining a very light pump. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. In my training regimens, I always do it between 20 and 30 minutes, because I have the feeling to go beyond 30 minutes. I don't know if you get much more training stimulus out of that. And beyond 30 minutes doing this kind of stuff, it's really a chore, right? It's really annoying to always just climb and climb and climb on easy terrain. But yeah. Sorry, LMFAO, my comments above relate to my ARC training question. Just didn't explain it well. Tree Search asks, when did you start hangboarding? What was it like in the beginning? Okay, let's take a sip from beautiful receptacle. I think definitely after at least 3 years of climbing. Okay, I'm not sure when exactly I started with this kind of stuff, but I'm sure that I trained for already 3 years of climbing in this bouldering gym where I started essentially. And they also had a hangboard there, which was really basic, self-made, very rudimental, nothing like a beast maker or stuff like that. It's just some wooden leads there, and nobody really used it, right? Nobody touched it, because you could go climbing anyway, so why would you use the hangboard? Today we have much more of a hangboarding culture, because people also want to compare their hangs. The hangboard is a very cool tool to compare hangs, although we now know that even the same beastmaker models have different frictions and different difficulties, in fact, although the holds presumably are just the same on every model, right? But they are not, unfortunately, so it's not really comparable anyway. But anyway, I started definitely after 3 years of climbing, and this is all to improve. Without this kind of stuff, great. Just keep climbing, just keep improving, get the mileage in. Mileage is a lot more important, especially if you're outdoor climbing. If you're outdoor climbing, you can skip all that stuff anyway, okay? Outdoor mileage will always get you the furthest in terms of outdoor climbing. It's a bit of a different story probably with indoor stuff, but yeah, that's the essence. Poffertier says, regulation in Germany is all over the place, depending on where in Germany you are, but I think in a lot of places it is forbidden. You mean climbing? Yeah, probably. Manveer Saini says, now that Justin explained our ARC training, lol. Wait, where it is? Now it's... yeah. Now that you do you think ARC training is not effective for most at a 40-degree angle overhang? I ask because I'm building a system wall. ARC training on a system board like that, 40-degree angle, is probably not possible, right? Because you are just in such an overhang all the time that you will gas out at 3, 4, 5 minutes. Trying to climb circles on a 45, I mean, in my gym it was a 45-degree overhang, but I couldn't link more than maybe 30, 40, 50 moves or something like that on this wall, because on a system wall, you don't want to have all jogs, right? You want to have small holds to be able to do hard moves, to train bouldering, and not really this ARC stuff. The ARC stuff, what you would need for that is either a rope climbing gym or a really just a vertical traverse, right? Where you can just traverse all the time, back and forth, back and forth. And this is what I'm saying here. Doing this for more than 30 minutes becomes quite a chore. And this is why I think 30 minutes is enough to get the training stimulus. And you also do not need to do this for a very long time. You do it maybe 2 times a week for 2 weeks, and then you're done with it. Then you get the most out of this training that you can get, and you should move on into another kind of training actually with the aerobic endurance that you created during that training. 40-degree overhanging wall. There's really good potential for a system wall for proper bouldering, but for ARC training, it's just too steep and too small probably. It's not explicitly forbidden. The general regulations have to be observed. Yeah, okay. Jerry Dangle says, hey, New Zealand is lifting some restrictions next week. Non-essential shops opening. Can travel locally for outdoor recreation. Still physical distancing. Cheers. Thanks for the info, Jerry. Yeah, this sounds very similar to what is going on in Austria at the moment, huh? And probably also what's going to happen here in Greece on the 4th of May and stuff like that. New cases are going down and everything, so they've got good reasons to open things back up, right? Janis Conrad says, hey Manny, what's your take on supplementing collagen as a climber? Not necessary if you just eat everything, okay? It's a different story when you want to be a vegan and stuff like that, and you're lacking maybe some amino acids a bit more than others, and then you're having trouble with regeneration and stuff like that. But if you're just eating everything, there should be no problem. I don't see that it's more useful for climbers than for any other sport, the collagen thing. I have never personally tried supplementing collagen. I should mention that as well, because that means I don't have any experience with it. Okay, maybe it's a wonder drug, as wonder supplement that all of a sudden lets you climb 2 grades harder or something like that. But I don't think so, to be honest. I think it's like with a lot of supplements, a very easy way to make money for supplement companies. And this is actually not necessary if you just eat a diet that contains meat. Okay, let's put it that way, because collagen is in meat. So you've got all the amino acids from collagen simply in meat, and you're good to go. Okay. Watching the live stream while doing my strength training. That's what I want to hear. Aloch Thomas, good stuff. Keep crushing. Stay strong. Good job. Simon Dengler, bist du nach Griechenland, als du schon wusstest, dass es losgeht mit Corona? Did I go to Greece when I knew that this whole Corona thing started? We could say yes, actually. The plan was to go over Italy to Greece. I mean, the plan to go to Greece was already up for like half a year or something like that, okay? And we wanted to go over Italy and then take the ferry from Bari or something like that and hop over to the Peloponnese, to Greece. But when we saw that the Corona thing started, we decided, okay, we can't go through Italy, or rather, going through Italy would be probably not such a great idea at the moment. So we went through the Croatian route, right? And as a matter of fact, I wanted to get this one project done, right? There was this one project that I still had in my home area where I ripped the hold out, and I wanted to get this project done. If I would have climbed it earlier, we would have left earlier. And now that I ripped out the hold, we had to leave anyway, right? But funnily enough, on this day, I said, today I'm gonna either climb it, and if I don't climb it, we're gonna leave anyway, because I don't want to don't want to lose even more time at home while this whole thing starts to get rolling, right? And you don't know what's gonna happen then. Whether it's still possible to travel and everything like that. And then I ripped out the hold, and then we had to leave anyway, right? And we left on the same day. We started the journey on the same day in the evening. And yeah, that's how everything worked out essentially. And in a sense, it was kind of lucky, because I think a couple of days later, when we crossed over to the Greek border, they closed the border altogether, right? And then we isolated in Greece, of course. We were really just staying in our van essentially and moving slowly towards our end goal, which was Leonidio. And that's our traveling story essentially down here. Was it all planned? Not really. It was more luck than planning, I would say. Yeah.
We couldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Or the lockdown.
Exactly.
Happen, so
we couldn't expect that it's going to have such a big impact on the society. That came kind of a surprise, but yeah. Rickissimo says, I've been climbing things my whole life, but rock climbing is a lot different. Yes. When I was small, I started with trees as well, but trees are simple and easy. Jacob says, expected that answer to the pocket question, because as you say, it's obvious you shouldn't slip. Absolutely. Nevertheless, interesting story. Actually, I had one-to-one the same situation with the tape today. Yeah, the tapes, they are dangerous when it comes to small finger pockets, man. They can really lock you in, and then you gotta get out there before you fall, right? Pofat, yes, but in general, climbing is heavily discouraged. Yeah, of course. I can understand. In the future, I will put my fingers just not as deep. Yeah, then you have to be stronger. You can also just be stronger, then you don't have to utilize the whole jugginess of the pocket, right? Epifano Entertainment says, are you ever going to try Action Direct? Man, actually, I already was in the Franken Jura twice, and I was trying not Action Direct, but I wanted to go to the crag where Action Direct is. It's not very big, right? I think it's called Waldkopf, the rock where it is. And there's only a couple of routes there, some really cool ones and some absolute classics as far as I remember. I haven't had the opportunity yet to try it, but I really would like to check it out. Could be my style. Short, bouldery, lots of crazy moves. I'm a little bit afraid of the big move right at the beginning, the jump, the dino into the pocket or what it is. It looks a bit, a bit like a filter for shorties, but let's see. I would like to check it out at some point. Ever had finger joint issues? Justin Connor says. And if so, how to deal with them? Yes. As I said in a recent video of mine, this finger, back in high school when I played a lot of basketball, it got the basketball frontally on the finger twice, I think. And every time this joint here swelled up like crazy, and then over the course of 1 week or something, it went down again and healed, right? But in the end, it turns out now that this middle finger is a bit longer than my other middle finger. I don't know if you can see that here on camera. It doesn't look that severe on camera now, but actually you can see it in real life. Anyway, this one was significantly more injured during my climbing career than the other one. So this definitely had an impact. Probably it's just longer, so there's more leverage or stuff like that, right, on the joints, and has something to do with that. I can't give you a blueprint, though, on how to heal this kind of stuff, right? The thing that I am always saying is climb below the pain threshold, climb it away. Try to climb it away, keep it active, keep the tissue active, keep it warm, keep it bloody, okay, so that nutrients get there, and then it will at some point go away. Yitzhak Mostard. I think that's the question we're all asking. I think purpose can be achieved through quite a few different purposes. That's deep, bro. That's deep. Yeah. It's a deep subject, man. Epiphano Entertainment. Many is great, of course. It would be cool to not think about many. It's funny how instantly when you ask these questions, many comes to your mind. Okay, funny, interesting. Ricky Rickissimo says, purpose for life for me, reproduce, learn, and teach. You see, these are actually very biological jobs, right? I mean, to reproduce is your biological task, and not at all a man-made task. And in fact, the funny thing that nowadays we are living in times where reproducing is almost discouraged by our society, right? By the man-made system that we are living in, while in nature it is completely the opposite. Reproducing is one of your most essential jobs that biology gives you, right? And it's probably that why it is also so necessary to really be fulfilled and happy in life. And if you don't, then you search for something else that that replaces this kind of feeling. And then you see these people with all these, the older people, you know, the lonely people with dogs and stuff like that, you know, trying to replace the child that they never had and stuff like that, right? Because nature programs into us what our biological tasks are, regardless of what society tells you, right? So here you gotta be a bit smart nowadays to avoid these kind of traps. Our man-made society, especially in the very developed and westernized world, sets these kind of traps for us. And yeah, you gotta smarten up really hard nowadays to avoid these. Just listen to your instincts and try to find out what your actual biological purpose is, your biological job, and fulfill that. And everything beyond that is play, is great, but just fulfill that and you will already probably have a good chance to just live a very happy life. This is how I think about it. Mm-hmm. Itzaki Mostert says, wow, that's a great explanation. Yeah, thanks. Trying my best. We don't have to worry about survival anymore, lol. Yeah, that's true. Maybe we would be happier if we would have to. Who knows, right? We don't have the comparison. Nowadays we can go to the supermarket and get our food, but is that really making us happy, you know? Maybe it would be a lot cooler to just live in this kind of small little tribe and you have to go for a hunt every second day, and then you have this success event, you know, when you make it and you have to work together. It's a very ritual thing. It's a very tribal thing. It has a lot to do with communication. You need your friends, right? Real friends, real shield brothers out there. All these things that we lack actually nowadays in this very artificial world that we are living in. I would say these people who still live according to their natural instincts, they are not unhappy at all. they are very, very fulfilled, although they live an extremely simple life, right? A lot simpler, with a lot less things, a lot less materialism, no money and everything, just the basics, but they have their biological needs, and their biological purpose is fulfilled, and that's what gives them happiness. That's all you really need, right? That's what counts. Orpheus says, have you ever collaborated on a video with Magnus Meatball? No, I haven't. If not, have you considered it? Yes, I have. I suppose I could ask the same about other climbing YouTubers, but you two bear some resemblance to each other. Yes, I wrote him an email when I went to Norway, when I passed Oslo on the way to Norway to Flatanger. But he responded very late, so I was already a few hundred kilometers or what up in the north of Oslo when he responded, and then when I came back down again, he didn't respond anymore. So I don't know. I think he's a very busy guy, to be honest. I don't know how much interest he has in collaborating with someone who is this much smaller in terms of a channel than he is. He always has stuff scheduled, he always has new videos coming up and stuff like that. And I don't know how much he plans ahead. I think in his email he wrote something like he's working on a video at the moment and stuff like that. So yeah, it's not so. You have to plan this a little bit more ahead than I did back then. I was writing him an email one day before I would pass Oslo, right? So it was probably a little bit short term. But yeah, in general, I would be up for it. If you're watching this, Magnus, I'm still up for it. But it's probably going to take some time until I reach nice and easy multi-pitch climbing spots to recommend in Österreich. Nice and easy. Hohe Wand. Hohe Wand, I mean, it's nice and easy. There are some easy multi-pitches on the Hohe Wand, in Lower Austria. Good stuff. I'm glad you got enjoyment. Okay, let's see. Paul Tanner says, I'm glad you got enjoyment from Pirmin Bertle. Yeah, Pirmin Bertle. I mean, the name, right? The name is amazing. Pirmin. The name is just amazing. Who is called Pirmin? He's the only Pirmin I know, definitely. I don't know. Is it? Then the question arises: is Bertle the first name, or is Pirmin the first name? What do you say?
Where is he from?
Germany. Pirmin Bertle. I think his first name is Pirmin. Yeah. Funny guy. Davide Ross, what do you think about sadness? What do you think about sadness? I personally don't think it is something necessarily negative, as most people would say. Do you or Mona have some experience with this? Oh, good question, Davide. What do you think about sadness?
I think it comes from time to time.
Yes. I mean,
I think you cannot feel the high if you cannot feel the low.
There is something to this, definitely. I think that probably sadness is, from a biological standpoint, just as necessary as happiness, right? If your psyche, if your body, your brain, your endorphins or your hormones or whatever it is, feel the need to give you the feeling of sadness, then you're maybe you should change something up in your in the way you live, to avoid this kind of feeling. Sadness is like pain, only psychological, right? It's a signal from your body that you did something wrong, that you did something wrong. Right? You cannot control everything that gives you sadness. For example, if your parents die, you probably did not do anything wrong, right? And you will be sad anyway. So this is something that you cannot really avoid. yeah. So maybe it is just really necessary to have a contrast for the highs, as Mona said. But it's probably also a little bit of a guidance, you know. You shouldn't feel sad all the time. If you feel sad all the time, then you have to change something up if you're with your life. No? Otherwise, this is going to lead probably to depression, quote unquote, right? And this is also a marker, I think, that you should change some sort of direction in your life. It's like with physical pain. If you smash your head against the wall, then your body tells you physically with physical pain, that's not a good idea. Stop it, stop it, stop it. So with sadness, it's probably psychological pain, right? It's giving you a hint. This path that you're choosing is not going to lead to happiness at the moment. But again, there's unavoidable sadness as well, like when somebody dies or a lot of unavoidable sadness out there, definitely. Never really thought about it though. Interesting question. Interesting questions today. Good job, audience. Time for another sip from the receptacle. Alex Buchholz says, hi guys, just comment to say that love your way to see life, keep going. Thanks, Alex. Keep going too, man. Stay strong. Javier Lopez Garcia says, Manny, I can't believe you are not thinking about red pointing 9A. How's that project going? Did you have anything in mind before coronavirus? Before coronavirus, the trip to Greece was on my mind, and now it is reality. So that worked out. Red pointing the 9A is still on the list. Absolutely, man. It's still on the list. Trying to get fit enough, right? First of all, and then start a proper attack probably this autumn. We will see how this works out. We will see how the conditions are, if the crag is dry and everything. If we can get the bouldering fitness back up, because that's what we're gonna need for this particular project that I worked out so far. Still missing one move though, one super crazy hard move. And there's also a little bit more full, but probably possible. So yeah, doing my best, man. I'm doing my best. Ricky says, at David Ross, sadness can be a great motivator. Probably. Is hangboard muscle group training? You mean that you're recruiting more muscles than just your forearms? Yes, probably, but actually you would want to only recruit your forearms, okay? Your forearms are the most important when it comes to climbing. Justin Connor, holds would have to be huge to keep the light pump on a steep wall. Correct. Can practicing too much be detrimental? Yes, of course. You can destroy yourself more than you can regenerate yourself, and that's not gonna work out long term. Manveer Saini says, true, Justin. Haha, I'll see what happens and how long I can stay on the wall. And thanks for answering my questions. Good night and be safe. Was a pleasure. Lorenzo Aureli asks, do you suggest a master thesis in molecular microbiology? I heard you studied that. I studied that. That is true. If you want to spend a lot of time in the lab, then go for it. That's really all I can say about it. I did not like it so much. I also did not like the mentality of the people there, because I had the impression that it was kind of a chore for them to do this job. And I could understand it, because they were indoors all the time, surrounded by white walls, machines, centrifuging stuff away, and heater there, cooler there, running around between those machines, ordering your all this kind of stuff. If you are the kind of guy who likes that, then go for molecular microbiology. But I can also tell you that I don't know, but I also had the impression that a lot of useless knowledge is generated in that field, right? These people are looking at proteins, and then they are looking at the 3D crystallized structure of the proteins and everything. Is that really necessary? I mean, you could say it's ground knowledge, right? And at some point, maybe in the future, it's gonna be so helpful to create this new drug or this new vaccine or stuff like that. But then again, you ask the question: is the drug really necessary? Is the vaccine really necessary? Right? So if you went down some certain rabbit holes, then you can. Then you have to re-ask yourself about all these questions anyway, right? So here we come back to the happiness question. It's probably a lot better to not know certain things. Not knowing certain things can really be a blessing, okay? And we are very arrogant in our way as humans to assume that the more we know, the better, right? The more we know, the better, no matter what. We should extend our knowledge in all directions. These people are not the happiest. And especially those guys in the lab, I've seen a lot of coffee. I've seen a lot of cigarettes. It's just not the way I want to live. I want to live in the outdoors. I want to please my natural senses, right? I want to do what makes me happy, and this wouldn't have made me happy, right? So this is what I would suggest. It's my view on the thing after studying it for about a year. Okay, about a year I studied this stuff, so I didn't finish it. Maybe it would have gone super great after that 1 year, right? But that 1 year I didn't like a lot, and I had the feeling it wouldn't change. Nicolo Panozzo, do you consider campus board a good training, or do you prefer other type of training apart from hangboarding? Campus boarding is pretty good for explosive power, right? If you are lacking explosive power, go on the campus board. This is also probably the only useful explosive power. Doing muscle ups, for example, on a bar, again, the usefulness is questionable. Why? Because you're doing it on a jog. And where outdoors do you have that? I mean, indoors you have it quite a lot, right? You have good slopers, big slopers, and you want to jump around a lot. So here we have maybe more of an overlap. But when it comes to outdoors, it's completely useless. What you want for outdoors is dynamic explosive power on small holes. And this is what the campus board can give you if you can handle the small holes on a campus board. So you've got to have a pretty high state of training, I should say, to begin with. If you don't have that, if you have not at least, 3 years of climbing in, you're probably better off just spending more time climbing, right? Christian Paul, hey Manny, what tips do you have to train the mono strength of the fingers? You can hang on the monos of the Beastmaker. Oh, thank you very much, Mona. Efcharistopoli, as we say here in Greece. Tipota. Oder Parakalo. Yeah, if you want to be good on monos, you go to the Frankenjura and climb there for half a year. Then you'll be better at monos than before, that's for sure. And if you want to train monos at home, you go on the monos of the Beastmaker 2000. That's two ways. Cloudinization says, are you still vegan? No. I made a video about that so long ago, and countless more videos about that actually. But yeah, no, not anymore. It's not ideal. That's all I'm gonna say. Ricky Rickissimo says, trees are super easy, lol. There is literally no body movement required. You can just upper body everything, lol. Yeah, that's true. It's basically climbing on a ladder. Depends on the tree though. My main practice in the rock gyms has been bouldering and dynos. Okay, that's good. Christian Paul says, yeah, come to the Frankengera. If you need a bit layer and a place to sleep, just send me a message. That's appreciated, Christian. Ricky Rickissimo, also, thank you for streaming this kind of thing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I really got into the, and you know, I did one experimental live stream. I think, what was it, 1 year ago or something, and I really enjoyed it. What I did back then was I trained on the hangboard, and always in my rests I would talk to the camera, right, and read some questions. The thing is, I figured out in the meantime that if I'm spending so much time at the hangboard, then I can't really answer a lot of questions, because a lot of time goes to hangboarding actually. So now I'm just doing the stream only thing, and it works out so far. It's a lot of fun. Cloud Sensation says, what is your current fingerboard strength on a 20 millimeter edge? 20 millimeter. I think that's roughly the middle Beastmaker edge, Beastmaker 2000 that is, and I should be able to hang my body weight on the middle Beastmaker 2000 edge. When I was very fit, I did a 1 armor on this edge, so yeah. I don't know how fit I am at the moment, because I don't have a Beastmaker here, unfortunately, but this is what I would expect. I would expect to be able to hang my body weight one-handed, right? One-handed when talking here. Oleg Nikitin, hi, respect for your work. Thanks, man. I'm not a climber, I'm a competitive shooter, but regularly watch your videos. Great dedication. Wow, that's interesting. Cool. We've got a regular competitive shooter in the audience. Would you have thought that?
No.
Interesting.
Competitive shooter.
Leon says, in Germany we say Ehre genommen. Köfte, Spieß und Ei ran. Yeah, indeed. Botkan Lazar, many the red-pilled monkey. Yeah, I'm watching YouTube for a long, long time, you know, so that really helps. It really helps. Getting off the mainstream media and watching the right people on YouTube before they get censored, because that's what's going on right at the moment, actually. But yeah, that really helps. YouTube is really, wow. It can be such a massive self-improvement tool if you're finding the right people in the right time before they get censored, okay? Yeah. Ricky Rickissimo says, I disagree. I live simple, but it makes me unhappy. Well, what does simple living mean to you? Means simple living could also mean sitting all the time in your room and playing computer games 24/7, right? It's a very simple life, but it's probably not going to make you happy, because you don't fulfill your biological purpose by doing that. If you live simply in a tribe outdoors all the time, you run around, you search food, you gather around a fire and sing songs, and then play repeat on the next day, it's also a very simple life, but it's probably gonna make you a lot more happy than sitting alone in that room, right? So simple life doesn't mean necessarily that that's a happy life. Man, there are so many questions coming in. The chat jumps down. Adam Sharma asks, how old were you at each grade passed? I want to know how hard are the few last progress. Wow, that's a good question. My first 3 years climbing I spent in an indoor setting only. Old school gym, old school bouldering gym, no funky double dyno stuff or anything, just a 45-degree overhanging wall, small holds, just hard moves, right? You had to invent everything yourself. After these 3 years, guy comes up to me in the gym, says, hey, you know what? You look strong. Let's just try a couple of outdoor routes. Let's just go outdoors. I know this and that crag. At that point, I'm not even aware of the fact that outdoors of Vienna, in the vicinity of Vienna, that there's climbing crags, real outdoor rock. I don't know that yet. So I'm saying, okay, let's go. Let's check it out. Having no idea about red pointing, about, lead climbing, top rope climbing, or any of that. And we go outdoors. Of course, we start instantly with lead climbing because we had to get the rope up somewhere, right? We start instantly with lead climbing, no top rope experience at all or anything like that. Well, lo and behold, it works out. We don't injure ourselves. And after about, I'm getting really psyched on the outdoor stuff because finally all that makes sense, right? The training in the gym makes sense for something real, for something outdoors. And then the psych goes up, training in the gym goes up, outdoor experience goes up. I think about 1 year after I started outdoor climbing, I climbed my first 8A. But that was only because I had so much strength already from all the indoor training, right? It was just a matter of putting that strength on rock. And once I learned how to do that, I was able to do my first 8A. I think 8A plus came about half a year later or something. And then there was a huge gap to my first 8B. My first 8B went down during my first Ciurana trip. I still know this. It was a real 8B, okay, not the super soft Spanish Ciurana 8B or something like that. It was a real 8B. And it was in the La Olla sector. I still remember that. Kurfil was the name. Now the name of the route also comes to my mind. It was Kurfil. Anyway, that was my first 8B, and I think that was quite a long time after my first 8A plus. I think a year, maybe even. And then 8B plus came again pretty fast because probably the 8B plus, the first one that I did, was a bit soft. It was Gott gegen Lisa Simpson in Adlitzgrim, a home project of mine. Probably, I don't know, again, maybe half a year after. I'm guessing here, okay? I'm guessing here. If you want to recreate my timeline, you can go to my 8a.nu scorecard and take a look at the routes of all time, my all-time ascents. And then there you can always see the first one of each grade that I did and the date when I did it, right? So you can recreate that for you. But I think it was, the 8B plus was for sure half a year after my first 8B. And then there's a huge gap to my first 8C. That was at least a year, right? And from my first 8C to my first 8C plus, I think it was 2 years or 3 years or something. So my first 8C was actually about half a year after I started this YouTube channel. I still remember that. And I also have the video up of my first 8C. That was a really cool route, by the way. It's called Selbstes Kind in the Adlitzgrim as well, my home area back then, to the south of Vienna. Amazing line. And also the longest I ever projected the route. The most tries, I think it was about 70 goes or something like that. Not 70 attempts, but 70 goes, including all the checking out and stuff like that, finding the perfect beta. It took a lot of effort, man. The most effort I spent on a route. And then that's the first 8C. And then the first 8C plus, which is this thing that I sent not so long ago, maybe half a year ago or something. No, not half a year. It's already half a year ago. No, a couple of months ago. The mode selector in the Grazer Bergland. This one also took quite a lot of effort, but I'm also, at this point, I'm a lot more smart when it comes to conditioning and stuff like that. So I have the feeling I could avoid a lot of the pain and suffering that goes with so many attempts as I had to use for this first 8C. But anyway, yeah, that's a rough timeline. Between my first 8C and my first 8C plus, huge time has passed. I think, yeah, almost 3 years or something. And I had to send 4 other 8Cs or something to be able to send my first 8C plus. So that's a rough timeline here. Interesting question. Do you have an Instagram? Yes, it's Manny the Monkey. You just have to connect all the letters. Matteo Beckemeyer. Icaro Marconato. Can I drive fast being a compulsive smoker? Well, you're gonna probably get some severe. You're gonna get some severe. What's it called? Entzugserscheinungen. And you're probably gonna get some, some detox. I hate to use the word detox because it gets so pulled out of proportion nowadays, but your body is definitely going to react differently to a dry fast stimulus than someone who never smoked, right? Smoking is a huge burden on your body. It costs you actually 200 calories a day or something. If you smoke, you can eat 200 calories a day more or something along the lines of that and not gain the additional weight because your body is just permanently burning those calories off to fight against this smoking stimulus that you're giving him, right? So it's definitely, definitely gonna feel that. Danny Miller, I've been climbing for 3 years about and bouldering outside for 2. Will my success, flash grades, max grades outside ever reach my indoor limit levels? I've been enjoying projecting outside. Well, depends on what you do, right? You want better outside results, you have to spend more time outside. For example, my outside results are a lot better than my indoor results. I could never climb an 8C or 8C plus indoors, right? A route that is, especially not with the modern funky, slopey, crazy compression, dynamic double dyno style routes that they are doing on competitions at the moment. I'm just not that kind of guy, right? I would have to spend much more time on this kind of climbing to get better at that. But that's just not what I want to do. I want to spend time outdoors. I want to please my natural senses, as I've said before. And for that, I need to spend time outdoors. The less time I have to spend in a gym, actually, the better for me, right? So, yeah. You want outdoor results, you have to go outdoors. It's just a different kind of sports, especially at the high levels, which is why I have so much respect for someone like Adam Onroth, for example, who is somehow able to be good at all the different disciplines of this crazy sport, right? Because to me, it's different sports altogether. In terms of what they require from the athlete, it's completely different, man. Yes, I have an Instagram. I already answered that. Top tips for going from 7B plus to 8A. More time on rock, more mileage. Build your pyramid, okay? The pyramid works. The pyramid approach works. Build your pyramid. If you can do 5 7C pluses, you can climb 8A, okay? Build your pyramid up to 5 7C pluses and you can do 8A. Last time Hard is Easy asked you for a collab. Make this instead of Magnus. Last time Hard is Easy asked you for a collab? Really? I didn't hear that. How? Where? In form of a comment? Email? Definitely not an email. I would have read that. Ricky Rickissimo, one of my goals is to free climb El Cap someday soon. Well, go for it, man. Favorite musician? Epifano Entertainment asks, favorite musician? That's a good question, man. Favorite musician. Well, if I would have to pick one single person instead of a band, for example, I would probably go with Andy McKee. The dude really has some amazing guitar skills, man, and he composed some absolutely epic stuff. This is, yeah. I remember when this guy came up, it was he was all over the place in the guitar world, and that's just epic stuff. Andy McKee. And the videos of his live records, I think it's Candy Rat Records or something. You gotta search these records up. it's just amazing, man. The sound quality is really good, and yeah, his technique and his perfection on how he performs these songs is just amazing to watch. Holy crap, did we just get a super chat? We got a super chat. Wow. This is truly a special live stream today. Cheers. On that, I drink some orange juice. This is, by the way, just so that you know, the second super chat that I have ever gotten in the entire history of this channel. We're gonna look it up and then we're gonna answer the question, of course, because super chats have priority here, okay? Just so that you know. Pavlo Busco asks, that's a super chat. You've mentioned not to full crimp indoors. $10, by the way. Thanks, Pablo. Well, how do I expect to improve full crimp then? Because I feel it's my weakest hole, especially on those nasty outdoor crimps. Yes, man, the nasty outdoor crimps. That's exactly what you need the full crimp for. You don't need the full crimp indoors anyway. If you are doing the full crimp indoors, in my opinion, okay, it's just my personal opinion, what the full crimp transfers weight from your fingertips into your joints, okay, and not into your forearm. If you take every hold indoors kind of actively with a 4 fingers half crimp approach or 4 finger open crimp approach, you load your forearm much more and you skip those joints, right? So first of all, injury prevention, okay. Most people get injured indoors because the plasticky holds, they don't have the friction, and whoever knows why. But most people get injured indoors when they full crimp plastic holds, right? So if you take them openly, you not only have the injury prevention factor, but also more force reaches your forearm, and therefore you have greater training stimulus. And it's just overall better, in my experience. Save the full crimping for outdoors, okay? Outdoors. And if you really want to train full crimping, you want to get better at those nasty outdoor crimps, hit outdoor bouldering, okay? Hit the nice outdoor bouldering areas, something limestoney, okay? Some really dirty ass outdoor limestone bouldering with some really nasty, greasy crimps. That's the best training for that. I remember the time when I was climbing in Mertenstein. I have a couple of videos up of Mertenstein, which is a nice bouldering area, very close to Vienna, actually, only 30 minutes away with car. And the area is just nasty. I mean, the forest is beautiful, but you cannot top out any boulders. There's moss all over the place on every boulder. The jumping ground is dirty and all that kind of stuff. And you always have these super small holded sit starts, which is not fun at all to start. And first of all, you have to learn how to lift your ass up the ground, right, from the ground, because you're just not used to holding these tiny little holds there. And you get better every session. Every session it improves. And I think when I was fittest in Mertenstein, that was when I was the fittest physically overall in my whole climbing career, right? Because I was just able to hold these small holds so actively. And that's what I would recommend. I never got injured, by the way, from this kind of outdoor crimping. Outdoor crimping is very injury conservative, okay? Indoor crimping is where it's at. And also the campus boarding and that kind of stuff. This is really rough on your joints and tendons and everything. So I would save the crimping for outdoors, okay? The full crimping, that is. Indoors, it's active, half crimping and 4 fingers open and stuff like that. That is my advice. If you want to improve your full crimp, and you want to full crimp more, then go outdoors. Go more outdoors. That's the bottom line of the story. Look at that, we've got another super chat.
Wow.
Thanks guys. That's another sip of orange juice right there. I hope this answers your question, Pablo. What do we have next? Rickissimo says, sorry, you had only 2 supers. You deserve much more. Thanks, man. That's appreciated, Ricky. Thanks a lot. So where have we been? Oh, wow, there's a lot of questions here. Super Zackass asks, disagree with the comment around knowledge, but completely agree with the comment on happiness. You will spend a lot of time at work, and if you don't enjoy it, you will have a miserable life. Absolutely. Well, if you can make your work enjoyable, you won, right? Because then you have your purpose and it's making you fun. You get something. If you enjoy it, you're also probably doing it quite well. You're doing it good, which means that people like what you do, which means that you get honor, you get, you get friendship, you get all that kind of stuff, which is very important. So yeah, absolutely. If you can make your job likable to yourself, you won. Samantha Lee asks, sorry guys, I'm just skipping here a few questions. There's a lot of stuff, but yeah, I'm skipping here a few questions. I go to the bottom of the chat. I try to go to the bottom of the chat. Samantha Lee asks, would you not say the most important thing for climbing, and actually anything anyone is trying to do, is experiment? Or it feels like people are using context-less, meaningless words. Yeah, experimenting is important. That's all I can say to that. What do you think about experimenting?
I don't know the context. Is it about what makes you happy?
What is the experimental thing about crocheting?
You learn something out of experiments, maybe.
Yes. That's it. It's like with in proper science, right? Proper science, not the kind of science necessarily that we are subjected to today. In proper science, you permanently try to disprove your hypothesis, right? So the way you would design a proper scientific experiment would be to attack your hypothesis from all different angles and try to disprove it, right? You would make experiments to do that. To compare it with climbing in that way, I don't know if I did it that way in climbing. I try to find what works with climbing, right? This is the reason why I try to record my sessions and my outdoor sessions and everything, basically. Everything climbing related, I try to record in my training diary. And if I stumble upon something which really works, this is also why, for example, I know for 100% sure that outdoor bouldering is so crucial for outdoor climbing performance in general. Because I wrote the stuff down. I wrote the sessions down in my training diary, and that's how I found that out, right? At first it was experimenting. I thought, okay, why not just do some outdoor bouldering for the heck of it, I wasn't really interested in it because I wanted to do routes, but yeah, then I started bouldering, and it was kind of fun. At the beginning, it was kind of a chore because you had to carry the crash pads around all the time, and I really didn't see the additional fun factor compared to indoors. But soon enough, it felt like, wow, it's just so much more effective training than indoor bouldering for some reason, right? No idea why, but that's just how it happened. And that's how I found out about the outdoor bouldering thing. And without a training diary, would I have recognized it as well? Yeah, probably I would, because the difference is very significant. But experimenting is important in all aspects of life, right? All aspects of life. You want to try to disprove your hypothesis. If you think you've got it figured out, try to unlearn it again. And if you get better results with the new approach, then you can try to disprove that one again and find another even better approach or something along these lines. We've got another super chat. That's amazing. Wow. Today we are rolling in with the super chat. Here I got a drink out of the celebration receptacle again for this one. $4.99 coming from Nathan. Can you drink water for my super chat? Big up, Hydro homies. Yeah, I just did that without even realizing. I fulfilled your super chat already. So sorry, Nathan. I drink because it's you. I take another sip. Okay. Thanks, man. Thanks for the $5. That's appreciated. Tamash says, hello Mona, hello Mani. Tamash, Manny, did you ever climb in Hungary? If not, you are welcome after this whole pandemic is over. Tell me some crags in Hungary, if there are any outdoor crags. Man, the part of Hungary that I have seen so far is flat as F, man. It's flat as. So if there's some crags in Hungary, that would be cool to check them out. And if not, then tell me some cool gyms. That would be also probably cool to check them out. Fred Bill, where are you from? Austria, Vienna. Nathan says, hey Manny, I really enjoy your videos, and I think you said you go to school, and I was wondering what your major is. And I think you said you go to school, and I was wondering what your major is. I don't go to school since a long time anymore. About 10 years ago is when I finished my HTL, it's called in Austria, the Höhere Technische Lehranstalt. And that's when I went to the military for half a year then, and then I went studying biology. I studied biology, then I finished with the bachelor's, and then I studied 1 year of the master molecular microbiology. But then I figured out, okay, it's not my thing, and then I put it on ice essentially, and haven't touched it ever since. So who knows whether I'm ever gonna finish that. Rickissimo says, I've watched a lot of climbers when I started climbing. You break it down to a science though. Well, that's the cool thing about climbing, right? Climbing has an incredible depth to it. There is an incredible depth of... I have never seen this much depth in any other sport that I ever did. And I did quite a lot. I did Taekwondo, I did kickboxing, I did Shaolin Kung Fu, which is all just very movement based, right, on a floor, and also there are some weapons and stuff like that. But it's already high level stuff. With climbing, it really, the conditions, the rock, the hold types, is it endurance, is it bowlery, when do you clip the quick draw, which technique are you going to use, how fast do you want to be, all these different strategical aspects. It's just a crazy depth. Oh man, I have to take more sips out of the receptacle. My voice is getting cracky already.
1.5 hours.
Mm. Short talking break, just reading questions. Duke says, have you considered base jumping? Should we go base jumping?
I don't know.
I think Mona wouldn't be too happy with base jumping. Well, better start with skydiving. Yeah. Maybe at some point, who knows. It's always kind of, I don't like the feeling to give my hands into something that I cannot control, like this parachute, right? The parachute has to work, otherwise I'm screwed. And I don't like that. This is also why I don't like flying. Rickissimo says, that's a good point, man. It's simple is what you make of it. Exactly. Epifano Entertainment says, it is important to make good informative videos about climbing in order to make the competitive shooters your friends and not your enemies. Very good point. I've never considered that, but yeah, it's probably useful. Portana, the way he's climbing, he's from planet Krypton. I don't know Krypton, but could be. The whole problem rock climbing is adjusting my legs and hips. Legs and hips only really have to be flexible with the rock climbing, okay? No other leg training or stuff like that. Do you have a preferred indoor climbing shoe? Actually, for most overhanging stuff, I would still go with the 510 team if they would still produce it, right? It's running out of produce, so we gotta search for an alternative. I heard the Unparalleled shoes should be a good alternative for the 510 team. We will see that. I will test that out in the near future. But yeah, if I could, I would still go with the 510 team on the overhanging stuff. And if you want to make jumpy, slabby, new school, coordinative, double dyno problems like you need in comps, then the 510 team is the wrong choice. This is also why most competitive climbers nowadays have different pairs of shoes for different kind of problems, right? So yeah, they would go with something harder, maybe even a katana or something like that, right? Okay, scrolling down a bit in the chat. Here we have an interesting question, I think. Bastien Poulain says, hello Manny, I would like to have your opinion on the Moonboard. I remember you climbed on it in one of your past videos and wanted to know if you could provide some advices for people starting on it. Well, first of all, you should know that the Moonboard is kind of tough, okay? If you are used to color bouldering of your gym and, big holds, compression, jumps and stuff like that, it's a completely different style of climbing, moonboarding, right? It comes closer to the outdoor experience, I would say. Really small holds, very active to holds, really good to train finger strength, and just a couple of really, really tough moves. I think, what are the easiest problems on the Moonboard? I think 6B maybe, bouldering 6B or something. So that's already quite tough, right, for a brutal beginner in terms of climbing in general. And then there is these benchmark problems, which are really hard for the grade, and yeah, it's definitely not easy playground terrain, and you have to be able to to cope with that, right, when it comes to moonboarding. So that's just for the psychological aspect that it's not easy. That's what you can expect. The moonboard is really, it shows no mercy. Santiago Giraldo says, can you talk about endurance training? There's aerobic and anaerobic endurance training, for example. We've talked about aerobic endurance training already today. Well, the 30-minute traversing, for example, for your capillary stuff. The aerobic stuff is more, you're aiming for a hard pump compared to a soft pump, right? Soft pump is aerobic, hard pump is anaerobic. The difference is mainly what your muscle burns. In a hard pump, you're burning mostly sugar, but not with oxygen. You rather just building the sugar down to lactic acid, right? This way you can create ATP really quickly without oxygen, but you're going to create a lot of waste product, which is lactic acid. It goes to your liver, gets resynthesized, I think, and then it can be used again. Whereas if you have still oxygen available because the pump is soft and still blood is going to your tissue, you can break the glycogen down completely with oxygen, and then you don't have lactic acid as a waste product. Just some words about endurance training. Epifano Entertainment says, can you give a shout out to a friend of mine? He's called Davide Schotte. Davide, what's up? Davide Schotte, what's up?
Schotti.
Boom. Chat jumps down again. Who? I'll just scroll up a little bit from the bottom and creepy old pervert. You've got some good questions going. I fear I can't read them all because then we will get censored by the algorithm, I fear. But yeah, good stuff. The water super chat thing was hilarious. Yeah, man. Is that only water in the Stein? What is the Stein? This one? Yes, that's only water. It's good old Leonidio tap water, which we heard is, yeah, maybe not so ideal, but who knows? We take it very well. Yeah. Davide, hi Manny. What do you think about an ovo-lacto-vegetarian diet? Is there a lot of difference between an omnivore diet in terms of climbing performance and health? Wow. Super big topic, man. Ovo-lacto-vegetarian diet.
What's that? What does that contain?
You eat no meat, essentially. You eat eggs and you eat milk products, dairy, and all the vegetables and fruits and stuff, but you eat no fish and no meats, no chicken, pork, and stuff like that. There's definitely things in meat which are not in eggs and dairy products. For example, creatine, taurine, bunch of stuff which we actually can synthesize ourselves, right? That's the argument that's coming from the vegan crew and the vegetarian crew all the time. But I feel a certain boost from certain cuts of meat, especially red meat, okay, that I don't get from anything else out of the whole animal product kingdom, right? What it is, who knows? I don't really know, okay? But I get a certain boost, not only physically in terms of strength, but also mentally, right? After these certain cuts of meat, playing the guitar just works a lot smoother and a lot better than without it, for some reason. So there's also something that involves the psyche there. I can't really imagine that you can get this from eggs and cheese or stuff like that, right? But it's already a lot better than doing a vegan diet, which is excluding this stuff also completely, right? So there's a lot of stuff that you can't get on a vegan diet. And although everybody is telling you it's okay, no problem, the truth is we don't even understand this kind of stuff. Do you honestly think that we know all the compounds that these or that certain foods consist of? No way, man. As biological organisms, we are so complex. Plants are super complex, and animals are even complexer, probably, in terms of the constituents that make up our body. So who knows what kind of nutrients are in these animals and plants that we don't even have discovered yet, right? So to say that you can get everything from plants is completely arrogant. Okay, you have no idea. Nobody has an idea. All that we can do is experiment and see the results, right? Experiment and see the results. This is what I have done for myself. As you know, if you're following this channel, I had my vegan days. Before that, I had a lot of vegetarian days. I was actually long a vegetarian before I was vegan. I think 5 years or something, vegetarian, then vegan for close to 3 years, and now I'm an omnivore again. Okay, for good reason, because I've experimented with all these things now. I'm done with my experimenting. I've figured out. I mean, yeah, to say 100% that you figured something out is also arrogant, so I won't say that. But I have the feeling I have a lot more complete understanding now of this whole subject. And if anybody says to you, you can get everything from plants that you need, that's just, he assumes that. Okay, nobody knows that. My experiments tell different. That's why I eat everything nowadays. And when we talk about ethics and environmental impacts and all that kind of stuff, it's also a really, really interesting topic. There's big messages that are pushed by big corporations, okay, via a lot of channels onto the public, which make you think that you're doing so much for the greater good, right, by avoiding animal products. Whereas in fact, if you look at very basic rural societies outside of big cities, right, outside of big westernized cities, what's there the most sustainable, in fact, is regenerative animal agriculture, right? It's just the same as here in Greece. What animals are there grazing on the super dirty, hard shrubs in the mountains, right? No other animal than these goats, which are grazing around here, can do that, can live from that. These animals are amazing. They are turning this completely unavailable biomass over, making it available to us. But not only that, they are turning it over. They are pooping all over the place. They are regenerating the soil. Without these animals, this whole ecosystem would probably collapse, right? This is how important it is to have these animals grazing around here. And you want to tell me that you want to cut all this down to plant soy and wheat and all that kind of stuff? That's more environmentally friendly than letting these herds of animals graze on that land? Yes, man, I don't know who made these calculations, but these animals are for sure not hurting any climate or doing any pollution or stuff like that. They just belong to this kind of land. And it just so happens that we can also eat goat cheese and goat milk, and we also can eat goat's meat. Yeah, so absolutely no environmental problem there, right? And the ethical thing, that's a whole other story. Yeah, it's a super deep topic, man. You could talk about this for hours. But let's just scrap the surface here a little bit. Ricky Rickissimo says, pack your own chute, Manny. yeah. That I would do for sure if I would do this kind of stuff. First of all, someone should show me how it goes, and then I'm doing it myself. Show them what you're making here. She's very good at this crocheting stuff, you know. Yeah, it's
monster, the baby.
yeah. For the little one. Favorite climbing shoes? 510 Team. Going out of production. Have been going out of production, unfortunately. Model that I would like to try, something from the Unparallels, because they seem to resemble the 510 Teams very well. Creepy old pervert is at it again. So, I meant to write the last comment in my search bar and not into live chat. Sorry, everyone. No problem, creepy. No problem, creepy. Ricky Rickissimo, so how do you place weight in the toes or in something like a 45-degree overhang? Not so sure what you exactly mean with that. If you mean being able to put weight on your toes so that you don't slip off footholds, well, you need core for that, core strength, right? Being able to make your body into a piece of wood and then press those toes in. Different types of endurance and how to train them. We've got aerobic endurance and anaerobic endurance. Aerobic endurance, 30 minutes continuous climbing, very easy terrain, soft pump. Anaerobic endurance, 4x4s, for example, or 20 move boulders on a 45-degree overhanging wall, right? Coming down, wait until the hard pump disappears slightly, like after 2-3 minutes, and then go on the wall again, doing the same thing. You also can just simply look up 4x4s. There's explained really well how that is done, and it works quite well, actually. Red meat isn't horrible as long as it's not a staple. Some people eat it as a staple, and it doesn't hurt them as well. So, yeah. Discreet Bolivia says, I also observed that red meat have good effects on me regarding regeneration and testosterone levels. Eating a good amount of red meat on third day of climbing makes wonders. Yes, red meat really has some power. Red meat really has some power that I could not observe also in any other type of meat. That's just how it is. That's just the truth. That's just what I felt, at least. Manny, what is your favorite type of rock? I think limestone. Probably the kind of limestone that I have in my home areas, in Austria. This kind of white, super hard to read, super unobvious, super bouldery, greasy, weird moving kind of limestone. This kind of limestone is really a good school. This is a good school for outdoor rock climbing. This is also the stuff that Adam Ondra grew up on, by the way. So yeah, this is the Czech area, the Austrian crags, the East Austrian crags, that is, okay, because in the west of Austria we have a lot of granite as it's pronounced, as we all know. Granite, the granite of the Alps is a bit different to climb than the limestone of the East, which is also great, okay, so not discrediting granite here, but I really like the limestone of the East Austrias. Ricky Rickissimo Bell, Dan the Man, limestone here. Dan the Man? Lol, here we have a Dan the Man. Yes, okay, Dan the Man asked a question about rock. Man, Dan the Man. Dan the Man. God damn, wanted to hear from Manny. Radio Telescope says, thanks, Manny. Cheers, Manny. GM Pilot says, so I've read articles describing the benefits of alternating cycles between max hangs and repeaters. Is there any benefit to doing some of both in the same week? I don't think so, man. I think it's a really good strategy to alternate max hang and repeaters. Something else that I thought recently about is if you're on a rock climbing trip, right? This is something that I realized quite a long time ago, actually, when I first went to Leonidio. Already back then, I had a portable hangboard with me, right? A Fingerschinder, actually, their first model back then. And when I was in Leonidio, I got a lot of route climbing in, of course, because that's what you do here, right, Leonidio? So, I don't know, route climbing, balls to the walls. And what happens then after such a 2-month rock climbing trip is that your max strength plummets, right? This is something that I've noticed also after my first Spain trip. So that's why I took my hangboard with me to Leonidio, and I tried to get in at least 2 max hang sessions, really simple max hangs, right? Assisted 1-arm max hangs, balls to the walls, just 3 seconds, as much power to the fingertips as possible, 2 times a week for at most 1 hour or something. And this way I could prevent this dip in max strength, and I could get stronger and stronger because I could keep my max strength, but at the same time build up my route fitness more and more because of all the route climbing that I was doing parallel to that. So in that kind of setting, the route climbing fulfills the repeater part, so to say, right? Assuming that you don't have anything outdoors available, it's probably a good strategy to switch up repeaters and max strength. If you have a lot of route climbing available outdoors, but no bouldering, you could supplement the bouldering with max hangs at home on your Fingerschinder, whatever you have available, and climb outdoors as much as possible. Ideally, what you wanted to have is outdoor bouldering and outdoor route climbing and an endless amount of time, obviously. And what you would do then, I think, is you would do 3 months outdoor route climbing, 3 months outdoor bouldering, 3 months outdoor route climbing, 3 months outdoor bouldering, and you alternating that until the day you die, essentially. So that's the ideal outdoor rock climbing training plan to become super strong, right? Obviously, you have to be privileged enough to have the time to do that, which none of us is, unfortunately. But that would be ideal, probably. And then you can skip all the gym stuff altogether, right? No gym is going to come close to this kind of training stimulus. Shower time. You go to bed, yeah, it's pretty late already.
I'm red.
Yeah, got a lot of sun today. We got a lot of sun, man. Good weather here in Leonidio, it's amazing.
Orange juice?
Nere. Ein Orange Juice wäre super great.
Nee.
Haben wir schon den Boiler aufgedreht eigentlich?
Nee.
Ne? Nee? Nee, ja oder nein?
Ja.
Okay. Yeah, we're a bit dirty today. We still need to take a shower, man, and we can't go to bed super late. So we're gonna keep this thing up probably up to 2 hours as usual, and then we're gonna hit the bed, baby. So where have we been? I can show you how to pack a chute, lol, Ricky. That would be appreciated, man. Do you like the squamas? I never tried the squamas. I think the squamas are super soft, aren't they? I'm just in principle not such a fan of super soft shoes anymore, man. I don't see why you would need super soft shoes, except for maybe some super steep new age indoor stuff, maybe. But other than that, you can always use some harder rubber. Why? Simply because of longevity. You don't want to be your shoes. You don't want your shoes to be ruined after 2 months of climbing. Okay, that's just planned obsolescence that they are doing here. Okay, and they selling it as, oh, it's super soft rubber. You're gonna have so much feeling. You're gonna have so much friction on whatever you're gonna do. It's just such a high-end performance, super downturn feeling shoe, super high-end. Yeah, that's what they want to tell you, so that you buy it, and then the shoe goes down after 2 months because it's so super soft rubber and probably super thin sole as well. But that's not worth your money, right? I mean, these shoes cost 140 euros or something, and even more dollars. So, yeah, it's a big money-making thing. This soft rubber thing, right? You want some hard rubber, okay? Some hard rubber is gonna give you good friction as well, and it's gonna give you some durability. You're gonna actually climb something out of your shoes. Vertical climbing. Hi, what is your 9A project? Any other project still open? My 9A project, I would like to not unveil so far. I also didn't spend a lot of time on it so far. But what I can say is that it's pretty cool, and I still miss one move, right? So it's still kind of far away. Any other project still open? Yes, the one that I ripped the hold out of before we went to Greece. So this one, 3030 it's called. It's an 8C, tough for the grade, man. Tough for the grade 8C. We first have to glue the hold back on. However we're gonna do that, I have no idea. But yeah, once that's done, we can try it again. Danke sehr. Efraristopoli.
You're welcome. Eating limestone explains their strength.
Both Adam and Manny grew up eating limestone. Yeah. Absolutely, GM pilot. You hit the nail on the head. Anthony Sandry says, what about Action Direct? I talked about Action Direct already during the stream. I would like to try it. I have been to the Franken Jura twice already, but I haven't been at the Waldkopf, unfortunately, which is, I think, the crag where the Action Direct is located. I will try my best to do it on the next trip. Although I have to admit, I'm a bit afraid of this first big dino jump pocket move there, which looks super big, right? It looks super far. Not sure if I can do that, but we will try. We will try, and we will see. Damn, chat jumps down again. Franz VA says, the Nugget Climbing Podcast mit Jonathan Siegrist kann ich nur empfehlen. Okay. Knife Making with Fritz says, is it normal that I don't get very pumped during hangboard training, or should you have a real pumped arm after a session? Depends on what you train on your hangboard. If you do repeaters, you should be definitely pumped. Okay, and that's actually the only thing that I can think of which should make you really pumped on a hangboard. Other than that, if it's about max strength, you shouldn't necessarily feel any pump, right? Because you're just your hang time is just so little and so compressed. Also, if you're pumped, you're not having access to 100% of your strength. So you actually should avoid getting pumped on super high max strength hangs. On repeaters, you should aim at getting pumped because you want that lactic acid going. You want that hypertrophy stimulus, right? So, yeah, depends on what you're training. What does repeaters mean? Voland asks. It means 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds off. 7 seconds hanging, 3 seconds off. 7 seconds hanging, blah, blah, blah. 6 times so that you have fulfill 1 minute, and then you rest. This is one set. This is one set of repeaters. I've made videos about the topic. Okay, look up repeaters on my channel, repeater training, hangboard, or something like that, and you should find it. There's repeaters and encores. Repeaters is just hanging, and encores also recruit the upper body. How useful that might be? Probably just normal repeaters, and if they get too easy, reduce the edge size or add some bonus weight. Amazing training for outdoors. For outdoor route climbing, that is. Okay, for bouldering, you just want the max strength. Jota Moloaga. Manny, how big is your penis? Pretty big, man. Pretty big. Nachricht zurückgezogen. What? Come on. Don't be such a Pussy. Na, wir wollten dich nicht komplett zerstören. How is the disease, the unicorn disease going in Vienna? Actually, that's what I would be interested in. Now, are the shops already open again? Jotham or Lorga? I weigh 88 kilograms and all my friends call me fat. Huh? Yeah, well, it's open today. Yeah, McDonald's open today. Okay, yeah, but that's important. If McDonald's is back, we can all go back to normal, right? So complete chaos struck the city. Sounds like good times. You're still with Philip in the flat, or how is it going?
Private talk.
GM Pilot says, where have I been? Chotomologa, yeah, Philip is sitting next to me, topless, of course. Good times. We will be topless too in a couple of minutes, because then we're gonna take a shower here. I've got salt all over because I was in the... No, I don't, because swimming is forbidden. We don't do anything of that stuff here. We don't do anything forbidden here. Who do you think is the best of the young generation of climbers? Who is the next Ondra or Megos? Ori Kimchi asks. Pooh. I think we're gonna wait quite some time for the next Ondra, to be honest. Because Ondra has something that all of the others don't have, this super strong mind, a super strong head, and very intelligent guy, able to use his power in a way nobody else before him was able to use on rock, right? With Megos, we have someone who is extremely strong, could probably climb harder than Ondra, if you want to hear my honest opinion, but he doesn't have the ability to use his strength as much as Ondra. Let's put it that. Okay, he just doesn't have this refined climbing style. Doesn't mean he's a bad climber. He's an extremely good climber, right? Alex Megos, we see super strong, just amazing. Also an amazing rock climbing machine there. And probably could climb harder than all of the other top guys, but yeah, it's also about how to use how are you using your power, right? And I think when we look at Adam Ondra from a pure genetic standpoint, he's not the ideal climber. I mean, he has very good features, but he's not the super ideal climber, at least not nowadays anymore. But still, he has that head, and he knows how to use his strength, and this is just amazing to watch. So we're gonna wait a couple of time for the next Ondra, I think. honestly, I don't see anyone on the horizon which could replace them in any way, shape, or form. And also, we always look at the big number, the big names, right, which are in the media, completely neglecting that that there's just super strong underdogs, right, which go completely under the radar, under the radar of the climbing media, so to say. Nobody knows these guys. There's 9B climbers out there. Nobody has ever heard of them. So, yeah, it's maybe the next Onra or Megos are just still unknown. We still don't know them yet, right? Who knows?
Was ausgetrunken.
Chotamoloaga is the new. Chotamoloaga, next generation climber. Serious talk. When are you back in Austria? Or Austria at least. I think towards mid-May or something like that. Mid-end May, something like that. We aim for something like that. First of all, we are awaiting until the Greeks are reopening the country, right? Because I think now the borders are still closed. I don't know if the ferry is even going to Italy already. The thing is, we would like to go through Italy on our way back up, because that's what we actually planned to go down through, right? But which was not possible because of the unicorn virus. So, yeah, we're waiting until they open up the borders, and then we're gonna see. Adam Sharma. Here is my second question. I want to progress a lot in climbing, and I have the feeling it will make me heavier, but on the other side, I love running, so I need to be lean also. Is it matchable? What? Great. You want to be lean for both of these sports. Man, ideally, you are the stick figure for running and for climbing, right? So these go together very well if you have the right genetics. You want to be the ectomorph guy, okay, for both of these sports. They fit together. I don't see I don't see how climbing would make you heavier in any way, except maybe if you're doing a lot of bouldering, because that puts a bit of muscle and stuff on your upper body. But if you're doing a lot of route climbing, apart from the few grams that you're gaining in your forearms, which are necessary and very useful, there's not anything else I think that you would gain. What is your favorite climbing spot in Spain? So far, it's Siurana. That's the one that I've been spending the most time in, at least. I mean, to make a true question, what makes Dave Graham so strong without as many muscles as the others? Dave Graham is a stick figure, man. He just doesn't have a lot of weight. Dave Graham is just what you want to be. As little muscle as possible, as little weight as possible, just strong fingers, okay? Just strong fingers, that's all you need. Dave Graham is just the prime example why, being lean as a climber goes so much more way than being muscular as a climber, right? You can save yourself, you can spare yourself all the effort of gaining any muscles. Actually, in fact, you want to prevent it. The guys that tend genetically towards being more muscular try what they can to prevent getting more muscular for climbing, because it's just not useful, right? You just want to have lean stick figure style look. What are you gonna say to that, Mona? Are you agreeing with me?
Being light is helpful.
Yes.
I think for climbing.
Do you know Dave Graham?
No.
No.
I'm not into the prominent guys. I'm not into climbing so much. Yes.
Apart from me, of course.
But I didn't know that he's that famous. When I got
No,
to
I'm
know
not famous.
him.
I'm not famous.
I would be too shy to talk to him if I knew it.
No, not at all. Even the very high end. That's one cool thing about climbing, by the way. Even the very high end climbers, they are really approachable. Usually, you can meet them at the crag like any other person. If you're just at the right crag, right? You gotta go to the high end crags. Then you're gonna meet the guys and you're gonna see them climb, and really approachable most of the time, right?
But I'm not at the high-end cracks because I'm not.
Yeah. I was not at the high-end cracks for a very long time either, right? And I had no idea about how pros climb, what they eat, what they do. And then you go to Siorana, for example, for the first time, or you go to Sirius, and then you meet some of these guys, and usually they're really cool, right? They're really down to earth. Also has something to do with the fact that there's not so much money in climbing still, which is actually a blessing to the sport, because it makes the top guys still very approachable, because it forces them to play in the same stadiums as the normal dudes, right? Which is just these cracks where you just go to. That's really cool aspect actually about stuff. But she doesn't know any prominent climbers. That's
I'm sorry.
Bottom line of the story.
I know Money the Monkey.
I'm telling to her, look at this crazy Chris Sharma video. Who is Chris Sharma? What is Chris Sharma? I'm talking to her about Adam Ondra. Don't know Adam Ondra, one of the most outstanding human beings probably on planet Earth, currently living. Only we as climbers can understand that and appreciate that, of course. But yeah, she doesn't know Adam Ondra. Who is Adam Ondra? The crazy
I might recognize photos of him, but I might confuse him with someone else.
You will recognize him because of the neck and his very unique body shape. I'm going to show you a couple of videos, but
yes, I'm going to bed now.
You're going to bed now? Okay. I will follow soon. Let's see how long we keep the stream up. It's a lot of fun at the moment, so yeah.
It is.
And my voice came back, so we can talk maybe for a little bit longer. But yeah, we are already again over 2 hours, man. Time flies really with you guys. It's so much fun. Epifano Entertainment, biography video or Latura complete video? Yeah, something along these lines,
I tried to keep up with some of the.
What are you showing there? Is this private? Don't show this.
No,
Don't show
with
this.
some of the things you were talking about.
She's making a chapter list. Wow, this is outstandingly productive, I have to say. So much productivity we are not used to on this network. So thanks to Mona, you are gonna get a list of chapters in the description and probably also in the top comment. I'm gonna pin that. Quite rough about the subjects that we talked today in the live stream. Thank you, Mona. This was amazing. You're so productive here. It's amazing.
I'm productive as well. Now
Dave Graham is a climbing wizard, says GM Pilot. Absolutely. Epifano Entertainment, Nalle or Daniel Woods? In terms of genetics, we're talking Daniel Woods, right? Super thin. You can see all the cheekbones. Absolutely no cheek flesh at all. Super lean and crazy ape index. And by the way, the dude is not even that short. I met him in Siorana, Daniel Woods. I think I met him one day before he climbed La Capella, by the way, in Siorana. And it was pretty cool. Again, really down-to-earth guy. Amazing to see him. I think he was on-sighting some La Orla route that day, which was pretty cool. But not as, of course, not very tall. Crazy arms, man. Arms to the knees. That's what you want to have, right? Crazy arms, super thin, ape index, and crazy strong fingers. Ori Kimchi, would you say climbing your first 7C boulder outdoors after 4 months is good? That's freaking amazing. If you do 4 months of climbing and you can do your first 7C outdoor boulder, that's freaking amazing. You should jump to the air and drink 5 beers and celebrate if you really did that. Adam Sharma says, thanks a lot, Manny. I should do more lead climbing. Absolutely. Jota Mologa, Huber Fanboy. Komm am 16. Mai nach MTF, sagt zu jung. Sagt zu jung. Good old MTF. Oh man, it's gonna be your birthday, huh? It's gonna be your birthday in MDF, in good old MDF. Man, ihr müsst zu zweit kommen. Yeah, I'm not sure if we can make it, man. I hope the borders are open then. I hope the borders are open. Let's see if we can make it. But the fun fact, Mona has very close birthday to you as well. So we're gonna, maybe we can arrange some kind of a group partying, or I don't know. Yeah, we're already considering whether we make it back home so that we can make her birthday, right? So it pays off more and more to go back home earlier, huh? Well, we will see. We will see. GM Pilots. Daniel Woods doesn't have the mindset. He is a rope gun. What is a rope gun? Lukas Schmuchalek says, do you think that only outdoor climbing is enough for making gains around 8A sport level? Absolutely, man. Without any hangboarding, campus boarding, etc. Absolutely. Absolutely. More outdoor meters are always going to make you better at outdoor climbing. More than anything else. And if you can couple it with outdoor bouldering, even better. Okay, if you can alternate between outdoor rope climbing, outdoor bouldering, outdoor rope climbing, outdoor bouldering, you are going to explode, man. If you can only spend time doing that, that's the best recipe to get stronger at outdoor climbing in general. All the top guys do it. All the top guys, they also do outdoor bouldering, right? And they alternate the two. And this is what gets them strong. Do you think they spend a lot of time? Do you think Daniel Woods spends all his time on the hangboard and trains on the hangboard? No way, man. They are sponsored. They travel around and they just chasing good conditions, doing bouldering here, outdoor climbing there, traveling the world. And that's how they make their gains. They just touch rock, right? If they can, awesome if you can afford it, right? Awesome if you're privileged enough to be able to do that. Other than that, we have to, try to mimic that as good as possible, and that's why we need the normal population of us who works and stuff like that needs campus boards, hangboards, and all that kind of stuff. But actually, it's not really necessary if you just are really privileged. Ellie Smith, do you know anything about shoulder impingement injury? I'm lucky enough to have genetically really strong shoulders, so I never suffered from shoulder stuff. So I can't really speak from experience here. I have heard the impingement stuff, but I can't give you any advice on how to heal it or anything. Just climb below pain threshold, keep it active, always keep climbing. That's what I tell anybody about any injury, right? It's probably better than to stay completely inactive. Jacob, have you ever been to Karlstein next to Salzburg in Germany? It's where the Huber brothers grew up. Amazing Klettergarten, many routes from 7C to 8C+. Wow, sounds great. No, I haven't. I haven't been there. Gotta check it out. Thanks for the hint. Who has the best genetics for climbing? Geodude or Hitmonlee? I don't know. I don't know either of the two. Jacob, would be cool to see you there. Huh? Absolutely. Gotta check it out. GM Pilot says, a rope gun is a strong dude you call to come send a project you can't do. Okay, and you say Daniel Woods is a rope gun. Could be, could absolutely be that you established. You mean that you bolted? Okay. Ah, okay, that's a rope gun. Interesting. Didn't know that. But Adam Monroy is a rope gun too, right? He in this case, Adam Monroy is a rope gun too, because he did a lot of unclimbed projects, especially when he was young and stuff, right? Just because he was so strong, nobody else could do them. Dimitris Oikonomou says, have you read any books about climbing? Yes. 9 out of 10 climbers do the same mistakes. Best book about climbing by Dave McLeod. Wie lange brauchst du für 5 Kilometer beim Laufen? Says Charlie Barley. Barley, let me tell you something. I have no idea. I only run maybe once, on average, maybe once a month or something. And that's when I really want to condition myself for some hard climbing, right? So I don't measure anything. It's just a short jog. I absolutely don't enjoy running. It's something that I rather do to get to top performance, but yeah. Kitos Abraham, okay, what are we doing here? We're hanging out and having some great time, answering some questions, sipping some water, sipping some orange juice, although the orange juice is unfortunately gone at this point. But we have to hear this. Look at this. We have here a beautiful receptacle for this water, because we're in Greece and they like this kind of stuff. I think they usually drink tea out of this stuff. I'm desperately drinking sips of this water to keep my voice going, which is already cracking because we're at this stream for 2 hours and 16 minutes. Wow. Looks like a French press. I don't know the professional name. Sorry. Do you know anything about collateral ligament tear? Sounds like something painful. Sounds like you should make some rest and massage it and everything. Jan Huber says, can you sing Puck de Stubenfliege? No. Lucas says, I will let burn my hangboard. Thank you, Manny. Ben VH says, did you get stuck away from home? More or less. I mean, we got intentionally stuck away from home, so to say. We would have been here anyway, whether the conditions continue or not, we would have been here. And now maybe just our coming back is a little bit postponed, right? So actually, so far, everything is still going according to plan. When is the peak age of a climber? This is a good question. Ori Kimchi. Honestly, when it comes to physical strength, probably mid-20s. I would guess mid-20s. Physical peak of a climber is in his mid-20s. Why? Because at this point, if he was really professional and started super early and has good genetics and stuff like that, started probably at 6 or something, 6 years old. At this point, we have 20 years of climbing experience, right at mid-20s. We've got still a relatively lean body because it's just a matter of fact that we tend to get heavier as we grow older up until 50 or something, and then we get lighter again, right? When we become elderly and we are losing bone mass and all that kind of stuff. But up until 50, we're getting heavier and heavier. We tend to getting heavier and heavier, especially as males. When testosterone kicks in, we get more muscle mass, we get beard, right? We get some nice bones and some robust upper body and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff which you don't want. Who fulfills these criteria? Well, the teenage to mid-20s ectomorph dudes, right? These guys, that's where it's at. And if you can get such a guy to have already 20 years of climbing experience in, and bouldering and rope climbing, well, then you have something like Adam Monroe, right? This is basically the recipe that Adam Monroe followed, and quite successfully in this case. And yeah, couple it with as well a very strong mind, a lot of intelligence, and also the motivation, the psych to get stronger. And then you have first 9A at 13 years old and all that kind of crazy stuff. So mid-20s, I think, is the peak. This is when you can climb 9C, right? If you fulfill all those criteria, you have to have good genetics as well for this. Jan Huber says, do you like 6-ish, 9? I don't know what it is. Peter says, hi Manny, what do you think about meditation like Zazen, just sitting? Could it have something positive effect on muscle regeneration after hard climbing? Keep up your good work. I appreciate that very much. Like, apart from calming down and coming down from stress, reducing stress, I think reducing stress is something very healthy in general. And this is where this whole meditation thing actually comes in, right? It reduces stress, and thereby meditation is probably helpful in a lot of areas in life. Also in sport, if you're having less stress, your body has more resources to focus on other stuff, on other stress, which sports is as well, right? When we're talking about sports, especially extreme sports, this is just another form of stress to our body. And our body has to cope with that, okay? Not only with the mental stress of work and family and all that kind of stuff, but also the physical stress that we put on our body when we climb 8A, 9A, and all that crazy. This is crazy impact on our body, right? It's probably not healthy either, to tell you the truth. This stuff costs lifetime, definitely. But it's also a lot of fun, right? So you don't want to live to 100 and sit in your room all day, right? You want to go outdoors and do something. You want to climb hard. Well, this costs a little bit of lifetime. It is stress on your body, and meditation reduces at least other stress, so that the body can focus on that kind of stress to heal it up. So thereby, why not? Could be beneficial. Jotam, ich zock noch eine und geh pennen. Geburtstagsfusion klingt leibend. Wir hören uns, Boy, der Mann. Be saluted, Josavasin. Epcor, I've been climbing some trees, mostly pines and birches in these special times. Good crimps, nice slopers. 5 out of 5 I would recommend. Yeah, why not? Got some olives here, a lot of olives. Maybe I'll try that. GM Pilot, can any reasonable person train their way to 8A despite genetics or perfect age? Despite genetics or perfect age? It's a discussion I've had with my friends. What is the upper limit to anybody? This question comes up so often amongst climbing crews, right? What is the grade everyone can reach? By the way, I made a video which is just titled exactly this title. What is the grade everyone can reach? Is it 7A, 8A, 9A? It's funny how we at the beginning, when we're climbing and we're getting stronger super quickly, we tend to be kind of naive and say, wow, everyone can reach 9A, right? But the wall wall grade-wise, where it's getting really, really hard for your specific genetics, is really distinct. It's not like it's getting harder and harder and harder, and then all of a sudden, and then it's getting just so hard that you have 70 goals to do, and then you can still do it. No, it's like there is this wall, and this wall depends on your genetics and your starting age. And you're progressing, and at some point it hits you. And that's when you lose your naivety with this stuff, okay? So no, not everybody can climb 9A. I would also doubt that anybody climbed 8A, to be honest, right? Yeah, okay. Passt. Bis später. I would also doubt that anybody can climb 8A, to be honest. I think a realistic statement would be any person with reasonable training and everything like that can climb 7A. This I could, if we have no morbidities, not of elderly age, crazy bad genetics even, there will be one 7A out there that everybody can climb with training and everything like that. But it's a really hard to answer question, man. It's a really hard to answer question. Ori Kimchi says, what do you think about climbers like Jose Klee? I think this is the Korean dude, right? It's the Korean dude. I think what I've seen from his videos, he's extremely light and extremely springy. He does a lot of moonboarding. Extremely powerful guy. Got strong extremely quickly. Spent a lot of time with the sport. Cool guy, honestly. A lot of dedication. A lot of training as well, lots of indoor stuff, right? But also outdoor bouldering, which is great, which is really what you should do, right? Spend time outdoors as well, at least. Now, because he himself has quite good genetics in the sense of he's very light, right? I think he's quite a short dude and very light. Yeah. He should appreciate his genetics, and he should celebrate them and use them as much as possible, and not say, yeah, it's all due to training and everything like that. I think I've seen one video of him where he says, well, how can Jan Hoyer and Alex Megos at the same time climb so hard, both of them? And then we can still say that genetics have such a big influence on climbing performance. Well, isn't it not the other way around, when both of these can climb so hard? Well, but the fact is that both of them have crazy finger strength to body weight ratio, right? Regardless whether you're looking at Jan Hoyer or Alex Megos, both of them have crazy finger strength to body weight ratio. And if you're a strong climber in general, just like Jose is as well, also he has crazy finger strength to body weight ratio. Whether he's the very top high-end climber has to have high big finger strength to body weight ratio. And there have been tests done on young people, on young, I think between 15 and 20 years old or something, finger strength tests, okay? Just a general population. They have never seen any climbing training or the like. And they found extreme variability when it comes to finger strength, right? Up to 300%. Okay, so that there's some 17-year-olds just have 300% the finger strength of another 17-year-old. Neither of them did any training or stuff like that. So here we can see how just variable, genetically speaking, this factor finger strength really is. And we also know that the same is true for body weight, right? So just if both of these come together in some people, then we have a genetically gifted climber all of a sudden, and this individual will have it's just so much easier compared to someone who does not have these two factors. And it doesn't matter how tall this person is. Okay, we have Jan Hoyer, super tall guy, extreme ape index, by the way, just plus 10 ape index or something, 2 meters, and he's 190 or something. Crazy finger strength to body weight ratio. If you're not aware of this, you just have to watch Jan Hoyer climbing in Silvretta. I think there's a video on YouTube where Jan Hoyer sends a couple of problems, I should say, in Silvretta really quickly, and he also flashes a lot of problems there. I mean, a lot of problems he didn't flash, but he flashed one problem in particular, which is just crazy hard to flash, man. Okay, so, and the way how he sticks those dynos on these extremely small crimps just showcases the crazy finger strength to body weight ratio that he still has, although he is so tall, right? So these basic laws still apply, regardless whether you're tall or small. But I admit, if you're small, it's easier to have a super high finger strength to body weight ratio because, well, one factor of being light is not being super tall, right? If you're short, that is. If you're short, it's easier to have high finger strength to body weight ratio. That's what I want to say. So yeah, these basic laws, they always count, okay? Okay, man. We're running this live stream now for 2.5 hours. I think it's time to go to bed for me, honestly. My voice is already cracking. I want to say special thanks for the super chats that we could get during this stream. That was the I don't know. I got my second super chat in my whole career of this YouTube channel. That's amazing. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And wow, yeah, time to go to bed, man. I'm super tired. I hope you're crushing whatever you do, whether you're in quarantine or whether you're free. I wish you all the best. I hope you stay healthy in these crazy times. Enjoy it. Make the most out of it, okay? Make the most out of it. Get crushing. Push your numbers. If you're indoors and you're forced to fingerboard training or stuff like that, make your progress measurable, okay? Write down your numbers and push your numbers every week so that you can at least come out of this whole thing stronger than you've been before, okay? At least on the hangboard, because that's what keeps you motivated, right? So stay motivated. Let's get stronger and get through these crazy times. What country are you in? I'm in Greece at the moment. So yeah, I will see you soon in the next one, guys. Stay strong. I'll see you soon. Bye.